Not many college football writers will go to Purdue and somehow come out with a story, but Pat Forde going to Purdue today. I don't know how you do it. You got Notre Dame tomorrow. Why are you going to Purdue?
I'm taking on that daunting assignment of trying to find something interesting at Purdue.
Wow.
Jeff Brom, new coach there. I think he's one of the real up-and-coming offensive minds in the game, and he's got both of his brothers on his staff. They've got kind of a little family oligarchy going on there, so we'll see if that turns into a story.
What is the storyline this year in college football?
You know, I think it's whether Clemson can really establish itself as an enduring dynasty-type school and perhaps challenge Alabama as the premier program in the country. The question, of course, is can you do it without the best quarterback in your school history in Deshaun Watson? Alabama's going to be there. I think we're all pretty sure of that, although they're replacing most of their defense. Can Clemson, be in the top 5, top 10, and be in the picture as well? They'll find out pretty quickly. They play Auburn second week, at Louisville third week, and then they've got the big showdown with Florida State late in the season. But I think Clemson's staying power is of interest to me.
I know you went to USC recently. I feel like sometimes when you have a marquee quarterback, we somehow overrate just how good you're going to be. I love Darnold. I just don't know if they're on the national stage where everybody expects them to be. Tell me differently.
I think that's a legitimate question because I think, college football is the ultimate what was the last memory we have of youth sport in terms of carryover to the next year.
Yeah.
And Darnold was tearing up the Rose Bowl, and they were beating Penn State in that epic game. You got your quarterback back. Penn State has their quarterback and running back, and everybody says, they're going to be great. Well, they both got some major holes to fill. USC needs new receivers. They've got some people that need to step up defensively. So I think that there are legitimate questions there, but I can't wait to see Darnold play again. Sat down with him last week, as you said. Really just a cool guy. Plays the quarterback position differently than most people I've seen. He's got that real just kind of flair to make stuff up on the fly. Sometimes drives his coaches a little bit crazy, I think, because he doesn't just drop and put his foot in the ground and throw like Tom Brady. But, Brett Favre and John Elway did it that way, and they were pretty fun to watch. And I think Sam Darnold's kind of cut from that cloth.
I watched the Rose Bowl again. That game is unbelievable. It really is. I mean, I know sometimes when we have a great finish in a game, then we say, that was a great game. I mean, they couldn't do anything with Barkley. Penn State matching them. It was just ebb and flow. That's one of the greatest games I've ever seen.
It really is.
It's
and
unbelievable.
I was there for it, and people were like, why did you go? Because it's not in the playoff. Well, I thought, okay, well, whoever wins this game is going to say we should have been in the playoff. I figured that's the column. But then you end up sitting there watching this ridiculous classic game, as you said. I mean,
Man.
The third quarter was this Penn State avalanche, and then the fourth quarter is this USC rally. It was tremendous.
Yeah, my daughter went to the game and took a picture, and she normally leaves at halftime. And I told her, you're at the game, do not leave that game. And then the game is over with, and she said, I guess that was a really good game, Dad, right? She knows nothing about football. I said, honey, that's one of the greatest games you'll ever see, even though you have no idea what you just saw. We're talking to Pat Forde, Yahoo Sports. Yeah, my kids know nothing. My son does a little bit about sports, but my daughters, they have no idea. No idea about sports.
I'm with you.
No idea.
My youngest daughter is the same way. She's getting ready to go to Stanford, and I told her, you know what, you're going to watch a great football program. She's like, that's nice. I mean, no idea.
Well, my kids go to a game, and then my daughter takes pictures of guys who are drunk. And so she's watching the Patriots in Carolina in one of the greatest Super Bowl finishes of all time. She's taking pictures of drunk guys. So her camera has pictures. She said, that's Mike, and that's Tommy, and that's Jim. So she took pictures of them instead of watching the football game. All right. We had Nick Saban on yesterday, and Nick was he was fun, engaging. I did ask him about being overrated, and he said, yeah, I probably am, the CBS poll. He says he gets too much credit there. I don't look at I think Harbaugh is overcovered. I don't think he's overrated, so I blame the media for that. Saban is underrated, in my opinion. What did you make of the information that came out of that anonymous poll?
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think he's overrated in the slightest. That's absurd. I don't even see how you could possibly look at Nick Saban and say he's even slightly overrated. I think your characterization of Harbaugh is dead on, overcovered as much as anything, and he plays to that. You know, he will stir it up just out of the blue with something here, something there. So he understands kind of how to manipulate that mechanism, and he obviously thinks it's good for recruiting and probably good for his ego as well. But I don't think he's overrated at all. I think he's an excellent coach. If you can do what he did at Stanford and then turn around and do it at the 49ers and now do it at Michigan, he's absolutely not overrated in my opinion. But, I mean, Saban's the gold standard. I suppose Urban Meyer's close, but not that close, really. I think Saban is very much on a pedestal on his own at this point.
Do you believe Brian Kelly is on the hot seat at Notre Dame?
Yes and no. I mean, they can't go 4-8 again. Absolutely can't do that. 6-6 would not be good. If you're 8-4 or better, I think he's okay. Jack Swarbrick wants to keep him. He really does. And they retooled the staff, and Swarbrick was very much a part of the retooling of the staff and making it get to a place where Kelly feels like they can win and turn it around right now. They've recruited extremely well. They've got, good player on top of good player at most positions now. They've just got to get out of their own way, stop beating themselves in games, and hopefully get some luck with injuries, because the last couple of years have been hard on them from that standpoint.
Sneaky team this year that could spoil some things.
I think Oklahoma State could end up in the playoff. I don't know whether they've been talked about enough this month that they may no longer be sneaky, but I think they could win the Big 12. Mike Gundy, of all people, is now like the guy in that conference. But if you want sneaky, I think how about Northwestern to make the Big Ten championship game? I think Northwestern could win the West. Got a quarterback who's getting better and better in Clayton Thorson. A lot of the NFL guys are interested in him. Justin Jackson, outstanding running back, and just a lot of experience on both sides of the ball. Pat Fitzgerald's kind of, I think, overdue to break through, and I think the Western Division, as usual, is a bit open there in the Big Ten.
Closer to a playoff berth, Northwestern or Notre Dame?
Well, if you win the Big Ten West, theoretically, you're in the Big Ten championship. That puts you pretty close. But still, no, I'll say Notre Dame.
Okay. Being politically correct, you're afraid there because you're going to Notre Dame tomorrow. I see what you did. Give me this sneaky college town for tailgating, like game day experience, and don't give me the obvious ones like LSU or Michigan or Ohio State.
Right.
You got one?
You know what? I'll tell you this: Mississippi State has become like the loudest stadium in America, and they get those cowbells ringing about 3 hours before kickoff out in the parking lots. You go through a game there, you come out of there, you cannot hear for about a day and a half. It is unbelievable. Look, they have put all these restrictions on when you can use the cowbells. Yeah, those are ignored. They use them all the time, and they drive you absolutely mad.
I got my Mississippi State cowbell right here.
There you go. More cowbell, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't go wrong with more cowbell. Good luck with the travels there. Great to talk to you again. We'll check in with you during the season.
Sounds good, Dan. Thank you.
That's Pat Forde, Yahoo Sports, national college football and basketball columnist. Always fun to talk to him.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.